Yeah. Let's go ahead and even. Whoop. Always do that. Let's go ahead and even the score because Mr. Yarmuth here says, oh, he was just joking when he said about banning Make America Great Again hats after the incident with the teens at Covington Catholic School, high school kids in D.C. with the indigenous person, Native American Indian, who was obviously speaking with a forked tongue when he did every single interview out there with the Washington Post, the Detroit Free Press, and CNN. So let's see why we think Mr. John Yarmouth was not actually joking. So let's take a look here at the article. So scroll down here. House Budget Committee Chairman. This is the scary part. He is the House Budget Committee Chairman. That should be scaring to everybody. Let's see here. Let me make sure of something. Yay. Okay. So, anyway, House Budget Committee Chairman John Yarmuth has retracted his call for a ban on Make America Great Again hats, saying he was only joking, filing a widely reported incident between Make America Great Again cap teens and a Native American elder. An elder, a man who should know better, like especially not to lie. The Kentucky Democrat created a stir when he tweeted Sunday that I am, as the number one there, I should say, I am calling for a total and complete shutdown. Let's bring this up a little bit, keep it above so you can see it above the sign here. Kentucky Democrat created a stir when he tweeted Sunday, I am calling for a total and complete shutdown of teenagers wearing Make America Great Again hats until we can figure out what is going on. They seem to be poisoning young minds. He actually said that, and I think he actually believed it. And then, after a torrent of criticism on social media, he followed by saying, oh, President Trump's fans seem to be more upset by my obvious joke about banning hats than they were when the president said literally the same thing about banning actual human beings. Go figure. Yeah, he was talking about banning, people from dangerous countries, the same people who were in France, like mowing people down with a truck down in, I think it was Nice. And the people who shot up Paris. I mean, Paris was shut down like the movie London Burning or whatever the hell, Olympus Burning. They actually shut down a whole city. Well, they shut down Paris that night. They went from different venues, different events, just shooting randomly into crowds of people, terrorizing the entire city. Those were the terrorists, the Muslim jihadists, Muslim extremists from pick a country. Does it really matter? I mean, a lot of them have been living in France and Belgium for years, for decades, but they're not above, a little jihad now and again. So, yeah, that's a big difference between, some young high school kids who obviously, now the story's been totally debunked, showing that the kids were actually engaged by this Native American person because he felt like he needed to get in their face. So some young kids that he figured he could intimidate, he can stick a drum in their face and bang it. I know we didn't try that with any big adults. There's a couple people on YouTube. I probably would not suggest trying that with because no matter how old he is, that drum is going to end up someplace else, probably not in his hand. But nonetheless, so let's see here. See what else he goes on to say. He says, and then he was responding to, when he said that about shutting down the teenagers wearing the hats, the reason why you see in the article here, they put, and again, this is from the Washington Times. Thank you, Washington Times. Great reporting. The Courier Journal is writing, it was racism, it was hatred, it was scary. The Native American leader who was surrounded and taunted by Covington Catholic students describes the scene. And then he responded to that with that tweet, I am calling for a total and complete shutdown of teenagers wearing Make America Great Again hats until we can figure out what's going on. He wasn't being sarcastic. He wasn't making a joke. It wasn't an obvious joke. And so why don't we look into this guy? Let's see. Tweets came... Let's see. And, of course, I mean, I know this story's been covered by everybody. Anthony Brian Logan covered it really well. Ben Shapiro really covered it well because, Ben, I hope you now have been red-pilled. It's time to choose a side. Like Machiavelli always said, choose a side. Don't remain neutral. Don't try to virtue signal to your leftist friends and liberal friends to show that, you have virtue because you called Trump out when he needs to be called out. Screw that. Enough's enough already. You see what they just did to you. You see what they just did to you. You see what they did to these kids. You just saw what they did with The whole Michael Cohen story over the weekend, Friday. I mean, you couldn't imagine anything would knock that story off. You see what they did to, as you said in your podcast, which I watched. You know, they were looking for any reason not to cover the March for Life. Will you believe there was around 600,000 people out there in the dead of winter, freezing cold in D.C. I think the last time I was in D.C., I think it was January, February, and it's cold. Still, 600,000 people showed up. Mainstream media didn't cover it. Why? Because they couldn't cover it. They had to cover the Michael Cohen story. They had to cover your story. They had to cover the Covington Catholic high school kids. Harassing some Native American person. You see what's going on. It's time to choose a side, Ben. Okay? I mean, you're younger than I am. I've been around a little bit longer. That means I'm your elder. I'm just like this Indian guy. I'm your elder. I can tell you what to do. So choose a side. Stop with the never Trumper stuff. Realize this is in fact a war. It is a cultural war that's going on, and if we're not careful, the people on our side keep bringing up the negative points about our side. Excuse me. It only hurts us. Okay, they use your quotes against us. Do you understand? They use your quotes against us. I hope you got a big wake-up call. Two of your sponsors just bailed on you. Okay? You're lucky none others, not going to be any others bailing on you. But it's time to wake up. Now, let me explain why I think Mr. Yarmuth was not kidding. Now, the source I went on this was, initially I went to Wikipedia, and there was like nothing on this guy. So I went to a site called KeyWiki, and they kind of really go deep down, and they kind of look behind the scenes, against the globalists. And let me pull this back up real quick. We at least have some reference point here to what we're talking about. Okay. First of all, I want to wish everybody a happy Martin Luther King Day, January 21st. And just see, he would be 1968. He would be, let's see, oh God, 1929. I'm sorry. He was born in 1929. 2019. That's 70. We do the math. 70 and 29 is 99. So 99? No. What am I, stupid? Yeah, 90. I don't know, 90? Yeah, 90. God, I got to do the math. But anyway, yeah, it'd be 90. That can't be right. 90? Yeah, because 2029 would be 100. So, well, he'd be 90 years old today. Yep, that's right. I believe he was born in 1929. All right, so let's take a look to, anyway, happy Martin Luther King to everybody out there. Hope you're enjoying your holiday. And let me see, John Yarmuth. So let's talk about him a little bit here. What do we know about him? Born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. Got a degree in American Studies at Yale University. His son, he and his wife Kathy have one son, Aaron, who graduated from Indiana University in 2006 and got a master's from American University in 2010. He worked on Capitol Hill. He was an aide for a Kentucky senator. In 1990, Yarmuth founded LEO Weekly, a free publication with approximately 150,000 monthly readers. Yarmuth was editor. He won a bunch of awards. He owned the paper from 1990 to 2003 and continued writing columns through 2005. Let's see. In 2018, Yarmuth was among several Democrats who brought illegal immigrants to the 2018 State of the Union address. Oh, that's nice. And let's see. John Yarmuth is close to members of the Kentucky Committee of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism. A leader of that organization, in fact, Ira Grouper, has described his longtime ally, John Yarmuth, as a decent progressive Democrat. Brat Magazine, he has a connection to that, was a youth run. Let's see. Youth area. Brat, not really interested about that. Let's see. Let's see where it gets really good. Looking at this earlier. LEO founder and Democratic Representative John Yarmuth announced January that he's donating his salary to 38 local organizations, probably using more than he can. And let's see, two of the groups he pledged he were connected to the committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism, including the Kentucky Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression and the Fairness Campaign. And let's see, Love Mountains Day, Co-sponsor of HR 6 single payer healthcare reform. Praises fairness campaign. There we go. Communist contact for Yarmuth in 2013. Progressive Democrats of America assigned activists to deliver their material to every U.S. congressman who has ties to, Kay Tilo has ties to both the Communist Party and the Committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism, and was assigned as a contact for Kentucky Representative John Yarmuth. In June 2013, PDA contact was Colleen Clemens. Let's see. Communist propaganda for high school juniors. High school juniors who win the 2014 University of Louisville Yarmuth Book Award will be given University of Louisville Associate Professor Catherine Fossil's book about Kentucky civil rights activist Ann Braden, a member of the Communist Party USA, who went on to join the Committee of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism in later life. Let's see, and Fossil, who works for the newspaper he started and I guess still owns. Fossil, an associate professor of women's and gender studies and director of the Ann Braden Institute for Social Justice Research. Climate Action Network, of course, the big thing with climate change. Supported by the Council for a Livable World. The Council for a Livable World was founded in 1962 by longtime socialist activist and alleged Soviet agent Leo Szilard, S-Z-I-L-A-R-D. Is a nonprofit advocacy organization that seeks to reduce the danger of nuclear weapons and increase national security. Now, some of you may not remember the 80s. Some of you were just maybe born in the 80s. But in the 80s, what the Russians were doing, this is the height of the Cold War. Okay, this is really scary stuff. Reagan's in the White House. Before Gorbachev, there were a whole bunch of scary guys, and Andropov, former head of the KGB, a whole bunch of other scary guys in charge. And what the Russians were trying to do at that time in Europe and in the United States was pretty much to bring the narrative better red than dead, meaning it would be better for the Russians to take over, for us to become communists in Europe and in America than to be dead from a mutual assured destruction nuclear exchange. And that was their big push. That was their propaganda push. That's what they were doing in universities, on college campuses, among and they had a bunch of liberal, quote unquote, liberal, progressive organizations as their allies. And so you have this organization that was founded in 1962 by long-time socialist activists. This is the Council for a Livable World. I mean, it sounds nice, right? Council for a Livable World. Hey, who doesn't want to live? Well, better red than dead. And if people had supported that back in the 80s, we'd all be communists. We would not be talking right now. We'd not be allowed to be talking right now. Most of the younger generation forget about the horrors of communism and what they did to Eastern Europe and all the people they subjugated around the world and all the people that died in the chase for the ideal of communism, a perfect communism where we're all equal and we all work together and everybody is, friendly and just happy to be working and taking care of one another. The only problem is you got to kill a lot of people to get there, according to at least Marx and everybody else after him. Because when you're taking over the free market system, you need centralized planning. Centralized planning is just that. It's central. Central to who? Central to like one guy, a small committee. Well, they're at the top. And basically, just because you're a communist does not mean you leave human nature behind. Human nature is corruptible. Human nature is deceitful. Human nature is envious. Human nature has fear. And that plays out. And if you're trying to maintain power and you have an ego and, the ends justify the means, it's like, yeah, I'm killing these people not because they may take my power from me and maybe do a better job. I'm killing them because they're against the true mission of communism, which I've defined that I am the true mission. And so I'm Stalin, Mao, pick a leader. But anyway, the Council for a Livable World, founded in 1962. Let me just see here. Hey, Lalo. How you doing, Lalo? Lalo. How you doing, man? Just saw you there in the chat. Sorry I didn't see you there sooner. But, if you want to call in, 775-273-8970. That's the call-in number. It's up there on the screen. All right, so let's see. Okay, so CILZARD So the Council for a Livable World is a nonprofit advocacy organization that seeks to reduce the danger of nuclear weapons and increase national security, primarily through supporting progressive congressional candidates who support their policies. The council supported John Yarmuth in his successful 2008 House of Representatives run as a candidate for Kentucky. He has also been previously supported by the council. The Populist Caucus was founded in February 11, 2009 in the U.S. House of Representatives by Democrat Brew Braley of Iowa. Let's see. J Street endorsement. This is important. In 2008, Yarmouth was endorsed by J Street PAC. Socialists infiltrated anti-Israel two-state solutions. J Street PAC endorsed John Yarmouth in his 2014 congressional race. J Street endorsed him again in 2016. And according to a statement they put out, Yarmouth has been a consistent and outspoken advocate for bold U.S. leadership to broker a two-state solution. J Street PAC is proud to re-endorse Yarmouth, a five-time endorsee. Now, if I'm not mistaken, J Street PAC is controlled by George Soros. And basically, it's an anti-Israel group, okay? Which kind of, if you see his picture, it looks like a mean guy. You just see his picture there on the, it's kind of bad from, scanning it and everything. But it's an anti-Israel group. And, they're against Israel. They're for the Palestinians. They think Israel's bad. Everything Israel does is bad. And they want a two-state solution, but really what they want is Israel out of the way. And that's their big deal. So just let you know. Okay, further, in January 27, 2010, U.S. Representatives Keith Ellison and Jim McDermott led 52 other members of Congress in signing a letter addressed to President Barack Obama, calling for him to use diplomatic pressure to resolve the blockade affecting Gaza. John Yarmuth was one of the signatories of the letter. Yep. One of the signatories of the letter. The entire letter, together with a complete list of signatories, can be read. Blah, 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 blah. Communist Party Enthusiasm. Here we go. Interesting subtitle. According to a report to the National Committee of the Communist Party USA, June 24, 2006, here's what they said. There were also some outright victories for peace candidates. And they put this press release out. In Kentucky's 3rd Congressional District, Senator in Louisville, John Yarmuth, won a three-way primary. He calls for withdrawal from Iraq, and for taxing the rich. Progressive record. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. In 2011, it goes on to say, it is well known that he is anti-Israel in his leanings. He voted to bar members of Congress from attending Glenn Beck's Restoring Courage rally in Jerusalem, Israel, during the week of August 24, 2011. Also during this time, he received substantial campaign cash from the George Soros-funded J Street. Cuba, of course, he wanted to reinstate ties with Cuba. He's a socialist. He's a communist. Of course, he loves Cuba. Let's see. Okay, on March 23rd, Steve Cohen, John Yarmuth, and Donna Edwards and Sarah Stevens of Center for Democracy in the Americas met with Reuters and Financial Times journalist Mark Frank, former writer. Yeah, I know, kind of freaky, huh? I see you there, right? Leela, whoa, wow. Former writer for the Communist Party, USA People's Daily World, and a propagandist for the Castro regime. So that's who he was meeting with. Of course, he wanted to lift the travel ban on Cuba. Let's see. He's also been out there condemning criticism of, let's see. Let's see. All right. right, so on December 17th, 2015, Representative Don Bayer Jr. introduced legislation condemning violence, bigotry, and hateful rhetoric towards Muslims in the United States, as if that was a problem. I don't know. I never heard it was. I heard a lot of problems with Muslims committing terrorist acts in the United States. You had, see, Fort Hood. You had the nightclub in Florida. The legislation goes on to say the legislation is based on unsourced claims that there is a rise of hateful, anti-Muslim speech, violence, and cultural ignorance, and a disproportionate targeting of Muslim women who wear hijab, headscarves, and other religious articles of clothing. It's funny, I was around in 2015. I don't remember hearing any stories about that. The resolution condemning violence, bigotry, and hateful rhetoric towards Muslims in the United States was co-sponsored by, John Yarmuth. Let's see. There was a letter sent to regarding U.S.-Mexico security cooperation. He was against that, of course. He wants open borders. Impeaching Trump. Here we go. Gee, I wonder again if when he said he should ban MAGA hats, if he was just joking. Let's see. Impeaching Trump. A group of 6 Democratic House members introduced articles of impeachment against Donald Trump Wednesday, November 15th, 2017, claiming the president had violated federal law, the public trust, and should be charged with high crimes and misdemeanors. Democrats Reps Steve Cohen of Tennessee, Luis Gutierrez of Illinois, Al Green of Texas, Adriano Espaillat of New York introduced 5 articles of impeachment at a press conference at the Capitol on Wednesday. This is back November of 2017. The articles had 2 more co-sponsors, Representative Marcia Fudge of Ohio, and guess who? John Yarmuth of Kentucky. They listed a whole number of stupid charges. Yeah, but, there you go. And see let's see. And that's pretty much John Yarmuth in a nutshell. I guess that's the word. I'll use that word, nutshell. I don't know too much about the subject, so I'm just listening. Very good. But yeah, I mean, so when he came out and said we got to get rid of these MAGA hats, I don't think he was kidding. I think he didn't like. I think what happened was the story went south. That when the full video came out, and it showed that these kids were doing nothing wrong, they said, "Oh, I was just kidding." But if that full video had never come out, I'm not, even if the incident happened the way it still happened, it's just that there was no video to support the kids, and only hear this Indians version. And of course, the kids are all lying because, well, they're pro-life, they're white, and they're Christian. So of course, anything they say has got to be just a lie. But the kids were actually telling the truth. It was the Native American who was actually lying. Let's get to the next story here. We can move down here. Let's see where we're at. Here's just a couple more stories. Jimmy Carter wants Cory Booker to run in 2020. Now that is amusing, and I'll tell you why. Excuse me. Okay, if you don't remember Cory Booker, he was the guy with the bathroom incident when he was doing a speech at somebody's business, and he allegedly cornered some guy in the bathroom who he believed was a homosexual and wanted to have homosexual sex with him. And the guy, according to this guy, who seems credible, he doesn't have a reason not to be. I mean, I doubt he would just make something like this up and stick his name into the public limelight for no reason. I mean, he seemed like a regular guy working a regular job, and no reason. He seemed like he's also a liberal and a Democrat, so he had no reason to want to bash Cory Booker. But was that several months ago? This guy alleged that Cory Booker, when he was out there speaking at his business or some event, cornered him in the bathroom and tried to get him to give him, oral sex. And that story went out there for a while, and Cory Booker was silent on it. I mean, just like. He didn't come out and say it never. I mean, I don't remember seeing the big denials. I think he just kind of went silent on the story, like he didn't know what to do about it. But for some reason, Jimmy Carter, I guess, forgets that story was out there. Not that makes Cory Booker like, okay, he's a bad guy. Oh, well, that does make him a bad guy. But I mean, forget about that. I mean, as far as if you think this primary race for the Democrats is going to be a little softball, there'll all be kumbaya moment, you got nothing coming. These people are going to be brutal to each other. They're going to bring up everything they possibly can. Excuse me a second. Hey Laura, how you doing? I see you in there. And Laura, I made you a moderator. And well, let's see. We'll make. Let's see what we got here. Let me get my mouse to work on this other computer. Hold on. Anyway, Laura, you're a moderator, as you notice. Lilo, I just made you a moderator as well. So there you go. Whether you like it or not, you don't have to use your power, but if you wish, I would just ask that you use your power for good and not for evil. So basically, if you see anybody acting the fool there in the chat room, or you see somebody in the comment section or some later date, just feel free to do what you got to do. Not a problem. Yep, you are the boss. That's right. You are now the boss. So you got it now. You have the power. You have the power. But so back to Cory Booker. Like, yay, you're a moderator. Yep, there you are, right there. But what are they saying? So back to Cory Booker. So I mean, there's a story going to come up here in a second because, as you know, Kamala Harris announced that she was running, and I'll talk more about her in a second. But I see her getting the nomination for the Democratic Party. I've been saying that for months and months and months, and I don't see anybody getting in her way to stop her. So, with Cory Booker, I mean, if you don't think Kamala Harris is going to go after him on that bathroom episode, again, she's not going to attack him, for being gay. I mean, there's no way. I mean, you can't attack somebody for being gay, but you can attack somebody for assaulting somebody. I mean, the whole Me Too movement and blah blah blah. And if you don't think that she's going to go after him, or she's going to have other people go after him, and he's going to be persona non grata, like in about 10 seconds or less, you got nothing coming. This woman is a trial attorney. This woman, she's got it together. She's smart. I don't like what she says. I don't like what she does. But if I was like a liberal, I'd be like, yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl. Because if I was a liberal and I had those beliefs, I'd be like, yeah, that's who I want to run because I think that woman has a shot. And if anybody gets complacent thinking she has no shot, and they can just say, oh, she'll never, remember they said the same thing about Trump. Just remember that I mean, not we. Actually, I think I did. I think I even said I voted for the guy, but I said, oh, I remember voting for him and going home that night, and I was seeing the exit polling from North Carolina. And I was all depressed. I'm like, oh. And I was in Vegas, and I had to drive back home. By the time I got home, I turned the TV on. He had just won North Carolina. I mean, my mood changed, completely, obviously. But I mean, everybody was saying Trump wasn't going to win. I don't think Trump thought he was going to win. So if anyone wants to get complacent when it comes to her, there's another thing coming. In fact, let me get down to that story because as far as Cory Booker here, that's they didn't even say much. In fact, Booker didn't say much except here's what Cory Booker said in response. Okay, first Carter goes, I hope you run for president. Yay. And then Cory Booker, all he says is, you encouraging me, here he says right here, you encouraging me means more to me than you can imagine. Wow. That's not really much of an announcement or even like, I'm going to think about it announcement. He knows it's finished. He knows there's no way in hell the Democrats are going to let him get away with that. There's no way. Let me grab some water real quick here. All right, so let's get down to the person who I think's got the shot for the Democratic nominee. There she is. A bad picture, obviously, coming through on a scanner. Again, this is from the Washington Times. Thank you, Washington Times. Great reporting, as always. You should really, here, I'll give a free commercial for them. People should really, let me fix this real quick. Boom, there we go. All right, so Senator Kamala Harris announces 2020 presidential campaign. And her slogan is, let's do this together. Well, I mean, we got a phone call coming in. Please hold on. Hello, caller. You're on the phone with Carl's Opinion. Hello, caller. Caller, you're on the phone. Well, we had a caller, but then I think we lost him. So let's see. Maybe we'll get him back. Yep. We had a caller. They're gone. Oh well. But anyway, to the caller who's calling in, sorry, missed you there. You want to call back? That'll be fine. All right. We'll try again next time. But anyway, if that was Laylo or Laura, apologize for that if I lost you there on the phone call. But again, if you want to call back, that'll be fine. So again, yeah, there is a live call-in number there. Now, if you want to appear on a VMix video call in Laylo, remember you have to make sure you're wearing some clothes. Oh, here's a phone call. Hello, caller. You're on McCall's Opinion. Can I help you? And what do you got to say? Ah, Laylo, how you been?
Not bad, brother. Hey, I think it was me trying to call you before, but for some reason, my phone, the line just went off. So I don't know
Oh,
what happened.
okay, yeah, that happens. No big deal, man. We
Yeah,
got your back. We got your back. So how you been?
gotcha,
How you
gotcha.
doing?
Not bad, man. I'm doing actually pretty good. I saw you over here in the chat, and I'm like, oh, let me go check it out. So I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
actually happy to be here. Before you were talking, I don't know too much about the topic, so I just listened to you because I know you're pretty smart and you know pretty much all this stuff. So I'm like, hey, I can learn from you. So I'm just listening.
well, I
um,
try. I try.
believe me, you are. So I just wanted to give you real quick my thing about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cory Booker, since you're talking about the nominees. By the way, the only one that I think I like, I wouldn't vote for her, by the way, but I like from the Democrats is the one from Hawaii, the lady from the Hawaii.
Oh, Tulsi, what's her name? Tulsi Gabbards or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Because some of her ideas, I kind of agree. I like it. It doesn't mean I will vote it for her, but I'm saying from everybody else, I think she's the only one more decent, in my opinion, of course. My opinion.
No, actually,
Uh,
she's that's why unfortunately she's probably not going to get the nomination because
I don't
they
I
think
don't think
she's
so
not
either.
she's not left enough. She's not a leftist nutcase.
Exactly. Maybe that's why I like her.
Yeah, I mean, no,
But yeah,
that's her problem. Unfortunately, with the Democrats, she's not left enough. She's kind of middle of the road for the most part on a lot of issues.
yeah, and supposedly I didn't know this. She was a lot of issues against Obama before.
Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
yeah, and she got into a whole bunch of shit with the Democrats over that. I remember reading some stuff about her. I didn't read too much because I just said, oh, there's no way in hell the Democrats are gonna nominate her because well, it's funny, and if they did nominate her, she'd probably let's not give too much advice to the Democrats, but they won't follow it anyway. If they did nominate her, she'd probably have the best chance of winning. Like I think Harris has the best chance of winning the nomination, but I don't think she has as good a chance of beating Donald Trump as Tulsi Gabbard. I'm butchering that name. Hold on a sec. Let's see if I can find it.
Sure.
No, I won't be able to. If I leave this, we're gonna lose all of this. So unfortunately, I can't pull
No,
up.
don't worry. No,
I
no,
pull.
don't go. Don't worry. No big deal. Uh, yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. It's I'm like I said, it's not that I like the woman, but from everybody, I'm honest. I think she's pretty good. Meaning her ideas, some of her ideas, I agree. I think they're pretty decent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she seems more for the people than these Democrats. You know,
Yeah, well, she was
honest.
she was involved in the campaign in 2016. She wasn't like I'm not sure she was definitely a Bernie Sanders supporter, but what she didn't like was how the Democratic Party was tilting the scale towards Hillary Clinton in the primary process. So she resigned. She had a position. I think she was like number 3 in the DNC, and she resigned her position in protest over that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I'm learning a lot for the past 2 years because, like, I think when I first started calling ads, I think I told everybody. I think you were there that I only got into politics. Um, because of Trump. Because I didn't know anything before. I really didn't care. So I'm learning all these things that you're telling me, or sometimes when I go, do some research, I'm learning. So I didn't know about this about her that you just said. So I like her. I mean, I do. I don't think she has a chance, but I like her. I think the Democrats rather have the stupid girl. What's her name? Cortez. Well,
Oh,
the young girl, whatever.
Ocasio,
Ocasio Cortez.
yeah,
The,
Ocasio
the
Cortez.
the idiot. I think they'd rather have her than somebody else. I'm
Well,
telling you, man, these Democrats, they going to hell.
well, it used to be a decent party. I mean, they used to stand for something, and they had ideas they stood for. They stood for like working class, middle class America. They were always very much pro union. But you can't be pro union and pro illegal immigration at the same time. I mean, there's no way. The two don't work
Exactly.
together. And
Exactly.
yeah,
No,
but
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
yeah,
ahead.
no, yeah. And so they left. The unions only support the Democrats because they've been in bed with each other so long. The leadership's been in bed with them. But when the head of the AFL-CIO comes out in favor of the Democratic nominee, and the Democratic nominee is supporting illegal immigration, I mean that's not. I'm sure that's not what his members wants. I mean, I'm sure the members are like, hey, no, illegal immigration just drives down wages. It makes it harder to maintain unions in certain states. A lot of these people, they want a job versus having to join a union. Union, drops job numbers down because wages go up when you're in a union. But the members that are in the union getting paid the higher wages, they don't want illegal immigration. But yet the union leadership supports Democratic nominees all the time.
Oh, well, see, the thing is that I'm never going to understand. I don't think. I hope one day I do. But it's the kids. I understand. They're too young because I remember I was too young. I didn't know anything. If one president, like when Bill Clinton was went to MTV and to play the trumpet or whatever it's called,
Hmm.
I'm like, oh man, this guy's so cool. So my point is like when you're kids, you know, you don't know too much about this stuff. Uh, so they have an excuse. The thing that on this, and the political party like Democrats, you know, I know they're doing things just to win votes. So I understand that part. And I'm not saying I agree, but I understand.
Right.
But the people that vote for them, I'm not talking about the youngers. I'm talking about like my age, stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. How old are
That
you
they keep.
anyway?
I'm 45.
You're only 25?
So no, I wish.
No way.
45,
Oh,
45,
45. I was saying you should,
45.
man. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, because
Man,
I'm
I,
53.
I
So
wish.
yeah, you've been around a few minutes. But yeah, go ahead. You were saying about the older people who vote for the Democrats.
Well, I'm just trying to say, I don't know how they don't see what's going on. I mean, I know they probably see it, but they don't want to. Like, how can you agree with these people now? Like you said before, they used to be pretty decent, you know, but now they too far to the left. Now they're just looking for power and money. They don't care about America, and that's the
Right.
way I look at it. By the way, so my point is like the people, not them, but the people that vote for them. I don't understand how can they don't see this. I mean, this is common sense. Even my parents, that they don't really speak English, but they see things. They see that America is doing pretty good now with this guy, with Trump, and things are not bad. And then they see the other. Meaning, even my parents that they don't have too much education, they see it. They know what is right. They even know that if a lot of people come here, it's not good for the country. So I don't understand how can these people vote for these guys. That's the part that I hope one day somebody can tell me. Look, I know it's for power and money, but I'm talking about these people. Why they're voting? Why they keep voting for these guys? Do you
Well,
have an answer?
yeah. Well, you gotta
Go
you,
ahead.
you gotta understand. See, like you're not like Anglo white, if I'm not mistaken. You're from like Brazil or Venezuela or something. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Well, no, no. Well, I'm Portuguese. I'm white.
Right, but see,
But
but you don't have white guilt. Okay, like in other words, what they try to do to white people who
oh,
are
I don't.
yeah,
But
exactly.
that,
Right. So what they try to
well,
do to white people is make them feel guilty for being white because of slavery, and we stole the land from the Mexicans, and they should have this land back. And so they play on that,
It,
and they tell you, well, if you want to like cleanse yourself of your sins, the way you do that is to virtue signal to show people that how good of a person you are, and that's by supporting things like illegal immigration. It's like, oh, you know, you're right, because we had a war with
so,
Mexico, we stole their land, and so we should let them come back in here because they were here before we were here, and so we should let them back in. So
hey,
we should have open borders. That's what they
hey,
play on
hey,
the white
Carl,
liberals.
Carl, hey, Carl. Yeah, okay, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know you're right. Meaning, like, I know that's one of the reasons, but I still don't understand. And it doesn't matter if you're black or brown or whatever. You should be always proud of where you're from and what color you are, and never ever feel guilt for anything. I don't feel guilt because look, first of all, hey, that's in the past. It wasn't my fault. All right. We're in the 2019. Okay.
Right.
It's like, come on, everybody got the same rights. If you don't have something, it's because you don't work for it or you don't try it. Okay. Everybody's the same. So every time I see this, look, if somebody will come up to me and say, "Oh, you white," I'll probably tell them to go, go somewhere. All right. Because
Gotcha.
I'm not ashamed, and it's not my fault, and I don't care if I'm white and you black or you brown, whatever. I'm gonna say whatever I have to say, And so when I see, and I know what you mean about the white guilt, uh, the, actually I get more angry with these white people feeling guilt than black or browns telling them, how to feel.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and actually, it's really not the black or brown people telling them to feel guilty. It's other white people saying they should feel guilty. I think the phrase white guilt came from a white person actually made that phrase up. So it's just that they're saying, oh, again, Mexico was here. We had a war against them like in the I don't know 1840s. I think it was. I don't know
right.
1830s. Whatever it was, and our army ended up in Mexico City, and we said, okay, tell you what, we're not going to stay, but we want this land, and you can have this, and we're going to tell you what, we're going to retire all your debt, we're going to pay all your debts off, you're zero balance, but we're taking this land, this is now ours, and you have this land, and have a nice day. And that was a treaty we signed. I think it was a treaty of,
Of
damn it,
the
I think it
yeah,
was
I think.
Treaty of
I,
Hidalgo, Treaty of Guadalupe. God, I can't freaking remember. God damn
Oh,
it.
no, 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 no. They even have a movie about something like that, but I think that has to do with California. What is it?
Well,
I can
we grabbed all that area. We grabbed California, Arizona, New Mexico. Texas had already
right.
won their independence. We ended up Texas
Oh, the
had become.
Alamo, the Alamo. Is it called the Alamo? The Alamo, something like that.
No, I can't
I
remember.
think that's how it is. But anyway, but yeah, but it's still. I mean, come on, you have to have some brains, and say, like, that's in the past. Same thing like black people, they were slaves. Let me tell you, everybody was slave at one point. Even now, they are slaves. But look, white people were slaves, brown people were slaves, Chinese, everybody was slave. All right, and supposedly, I don't know if this is true, but supposedly the Irish, they're the ones that they suffer a lot when they were slaves. I don't know how much true is that, But
Well, no,
my point is like,
that was more of an indentured servitude kind of situation, which means
oh yeah,
you were 7 years, you were pretty much a slave for 7 years, and then but after 7 years, you were free. You could just walk. You paid your debt off. You
oh,
paid your debt. Basically, indentured servitude, pretty much like okay, a lot of people want to come to the New World. Some people were forced to come to the New World. A lot of the Irish, the British went up to Ireland, grabbed a bunch of kids, grabbed them over here. Said, "You're here. You're on a boat. You're in chains. Get off the boat. Go to work." But a lot of it was also
well,
people who wanted to
I
come
didn't know
over.
that.
Yeah, people who wanted to come over here to the New World but couldn't afford to. They would sign a contract of indentured servitude, and I would say, okay, for seven
Oh,
years you
wow.
work. The guy would be like, I'm going to pay your fare to get over here. I'm going to pay for your room and board when you're here, but for 7 years I own you pretty much, and you work for me. And then after the 7 years, you're given your letters of I don't know what they called them back then. But it was pretty much the contract was over. You fulfilled your obligation.
Oh,
Your fare
wow.
has been paid. Your debt's paid off. Have a nice day. Now go into the country and do whatever you do. That kind of thing.
Well,
So it was a little bit.
I learned something new, but
It was a lot different. It's it's
yeah.
like you
And,
really can't compare the two. It's like kind of apples and oranges.
no, no. Look, I got you. I
Right.
agree with you. Of course. Look, I never been in a situation like that, so I don't know how bad can it be. I can't imagine.
Well, no.
My
Okay.
point
Look.
is like,
Yeah. This is what I compare it to, and because I've been giving this a lot of thought. So
go ahead.
I compare it to like, okay, I'm in. I wake up. I'm in China. I'm born in China. Okay, and I have the
Hmm.
same. I have the same history that Africans have in this country. Like I'm in China. It's surrounded by a whole bunch of Chinese people. I make up about 10% of the
Right.
population. Me and my fellow Europeans who were taken, sold by other Europeans to the Chinese to become slaves. We got our freedom, went through some discrimination. We got our civil rights, and now it's 2019, and I'm looking around and I'm like, huh, that's kind of weird. And then you kind of learn about your history and stuff. So I'm always thinking like, how would I react if I'm living in China right now, and me and the other 13% of the population, all Europeans, and 200 years earlier, our ancestors were sold here by other Europeans into slavery for the Chinese, and we went through all these struggles. So I would try to like walk in other people's shoes, and so that's the best way I could try to do it myself, and then I try to understand where people are coming from after I kind of make that analogy for my own life. So I don't know how I do not know. I do not know
Okay.
how
Okay.
how I would feel in 2019 if I'm in China. I'm part of like 10% of the population, and that same history happened to quote unquote us. You know,
Oh,
white
all
Europeans
right.
in China.
I, you, I know, Carl. I see your point, and I agree, but not all the way, because I understand the part that I don't that I agree is because if I was in in like that in those shoes, I don't know how I would react. You're right
Right,
about that.
right.
I don't
See,
have no
I
idea.
don't know. I don't know if I'd be like Anthony Bryan Logan, or I'd be on the other side of that. I'd be like some of the other black YouTubers, where I'd be like hostile and angry and pissed off, or
You,
I'd be like Anthony
you,
Bryan Logan, and say, "Hey, man, I'm here. I'm in a great country. I'm going to make the best I can. I'm going to go make some money, and live my life." I don't know which side of that spectrum I would be on, or somewhere in the middle. I have no idea. I can't tell you. I don't know. I have
right,
no
right.
idea.
Of course, we don't know, and hopefully we're never gonna know because that's a good sign. That means we don't have to go through that. But the thing is,
Well,
I
I
still
don't know.
think.
I might sell you and the rest of the Portuguese people to China. I mean, how much can I get?
But my
I mean,
thing
are
is,
you guys worth
you know,
anything? I don't know.
hey,
Hey,
maybe a little bit, but hey, come on, hey, I think you got a special, 2 for 1.
2 for 1. There you go.
No, but the thing is, it's now when you're in America, America gives you everything, so when I see people complain, I'm like, shut up, because you got all the rights like everybody else, and you can do anything that you want. So when I see these kids, well, big people even worse because they're big. The kids is like, okay, they're learning that way. How can you say you don't have no rights? Or how can you say you got more rights than me? Or how can you say this school is not for me because it's more for white people, whatever? It's like, come on, shut up already, man. Everything's made for everybody.
Well,
And
see, see
if
that,
you
again,
don't like
right?
it,
Again, that's the whole thing. I'm not sure how I would
but that's
react
that's
like
why I get
that. Yeah,
upset.
yeah. See, I don't know if I,
That,
like I said, if I'd be more along the Anthony Bryan Logan approach to it, or on the other side of that spectrum. You can watch plenty of black YouTube sites that give you the other side of that spectrum. So I don't know where I would fall in that, and so yeah. I mean, I understand your frustration, and I get frustrated with it sometimes too. I mean, I do. I listen to this and I go, well, wait, go over here, do this, go over here, do that, go over here, do this, and but I don't know. I don't know if I would be. I don't know.
listen.
I don't know if my anger. I don't know if my anger would get the better of me, or I'd be able to rise above my anger. I do not know the answer to
I
that question.
well, I'm hoping, or I'm willing to think, that I will be like those conservatives, black people, because I go to some of their channels, and let me tell you, some of them they're like smart, you know, and this is people that they came from the street, whatever, and but they think like us. The past is the past. Let's focus in the future. Not everybody's racist anymore. Not like back in the days. You know,
Right.
but when I but I already saw the channels, of white and blacks and brown, whoever, that they're so racist and so mean that I'm thinking, wow, man, how can you be so much brainwashed or have so much anger. I mean, can you see that it's a lot of good people out there that you can't just say this person is like this just because of the color of the skin. You know, I know I'm going maybe out of the topic now a little bit, but
No,
you know,
no, it's good. Good topic. Good topic.
I'm just trying to say, you know, I'm like you. I get frustrated when I see idiots, you know, and I'm talking about everybody. I'm not talking about just blacks or whites. I'm talking about everybody. When I see idiots, you know, saying stupid things, I feel like go up to them and slap them because it's like, come on, man. You know what? We're good people. We're brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter. Maybe we're different about religion or the country or the way we talk, but we're all the same. We're people, you know. I respect you, you respect me. I mean, that's the way it should be, you know. So when I see these people trying to say, "Oh, I want to kill you because your religion or your color or whatever," I'm thinking, "Wow, man, I can't believe it's people like this, you know, with tiny little brains." That's what it is, tiny
Yeah.
little brains, man.
No, no, no.
Uh,
I mean, obviously, I'm opposed. I'm opposed to violence, and like I said, I like to think I take the Anthony Brian Logan approach on that,
yes,
or
yes,
even
yes,
Brandon Tatum's approach on that as well. And I'd like to think I would take that approach. And the approach basically is like, look, we're here. Like I'm a big, today is Martin Luther King Day, and Martin Luther King
yes.
was a big fan of integration. And you have a lot of people on Black YouTube who badmouth Martin Luther King all the time, which is crazy to me because I'm a big fan of integration. You have people on some people on YouTube who want separation or segregation, and I wrote that on one of the posts on one of the sites I was on. It was like, God, you're talking the same thing like white supremacists talk about. They want separation and segregation,
Ex-
and I think look, we're
exactly.
all here. If we can all unite, I mean, we if we're all united, I mean, we'd be at 10% annual GDP growth right now. I mean, if we were all united on the same page, and we're all saying, okay, look, let's just keep moving forward, keep moving forward, keep moving forward. Let's keep working on it, getting it better, getting it better. We'd be at 10% GDP growth. And a lot of
It's
problems,
not
a lot of problems that people perceive that they have, they wouldn't perceive they have them anymore because they'd go away. But if you
right.
perceive you have a problem, your perception becomes your reality, and then it is a problem. Instead of saying, "Okay, I'm in this system." Like if I was in China, like I'd like to think I'd be like, "Okay, I'm in China. My great 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 great
Hey,
grandparents were,
hey,
were forced to
I
come
like.
here, but I'm I'm
Uh,
gonna I'm gonna make some money here. I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna start a family, get a good job, start a business. Save my money up, and make a real go of it here. And that's what I'm gonna do. And so I think that's your Anthony Bryan Logan's, that's your Brandon Tatum's, and like Brandon Tatum's from the street. Anthony Bryan Logan, we know his real history. He talked about it on O'Shea Jackson's show when he did an interview with him. Basically he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth either. So I mean, these guys. Well, hell, O'Shea Jackson. I mean, the guy graduated Howard University. He's in medical school right now. He's a very successful YouTuber. He God, I got like 120 subs from him because he gave me a shout out and put me on his show. So I mean, you know, I mean, there are pathways forward. Kamala Harris,
got,
Kamala Harris. We got her on the screen. There's a great example right there. I mean, this woman right here could be president. I mean, right here,
I
right
see her.
now, right there.
I
There
don't
she
like
is.
it. Well, I don't like her. I think she's, you know, I don't like her ideas. Especially,
Oh, I don't like
like
her
I
ideas.
said.
I don't like her ideas either. No, I'm not going to vote for her. I don't like her ideas. I'm just saying she's got the best shot to win the Democratic nomination because based on how that party is, she's got the best shot for it.
Well, that I agree with you. So far, I think she's the best qualified, for them.
Yeah,
All right,
for the
but
Democrats, right? Because she checks all the boxes off. I mean, she's a woman,
yeah,
she's
she's
black,
right.
she's a liberal, she was a former attorney general, she's a trial attorney. She can say I'm tough on crime because I was, the attorney general. She worked in the DA's office, I think, in Oakland. So I mean, she checks all the right boxes. She's in favor of immigration. She's against the border wall. She's pretty much for open borders without calling for open borders. She'll say I'm for security, but so she checks all the right boxes. And
I,
she
I
she's
just
got the great
I just
pathway.
no, yeah, you're right. I just wish, man, that we could take all these politicians. I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats, meaning left and right, out because they're just playing games. I see every time I see videos and things from the past. I'm learning that when the Republicans were, winning, meaning like they had like let's see if it was Bush. Okay, they won this, then the Democrats they don't want it. Then Democrats win, then they want this, the Republicans don't want it. It's like they're playing back and forth games. They don't really care anymore about the American people, and I'm getting really sick and tired. I wish I can take them all out, put some new people out there that they try to help. No, I'm serious because
No,
you can tell they don't
no,
care
I
no
know you
more.
are.
They don't care no more.
Well,
The only
that's what happens
go ahead.
that's what happens in D.C. That's one of the big appeals Trump had was that he was an outsider. He wasn't from D.C. You know, you know,
Exactly.
you know,
Yes.
and that's the whole
That's
thing. It's like when you work with people who have a vested interest in keeping a job working for the government, then obviously their vested interest is the government is District of Columbia. It's not the United States of America.
be, because you're right. Because right now the wall, hopefully they'll build the wall. But let's see they don't build the wall, right? And let's see then the Democrats win. You know what is going to happen. They're going to try to put the wall, and then the Republicans, they're going to say no. And I'm thinking, how can you do this? How can you play games with the people, with the American people? You got to do for the best. Like if I was in the party, I'd be like this. Okay, let's see. I'm Democrat. Let's say I'm Democrat. They want to do something. If I think it's good for the Americans, I'll agree with that. Why I'm going to disagree? Just because, hey, I'm not with them. No, you got to do the best thing for the country. And I don't understand. And that's why now they want everybody to come in because they know that they're losing the votes, the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're losing black votes, okay? And that
Yeah.
was a big thing, a big deal for them. So
Right.
now they need the Spanish votes, but even the Spanish people here, all right, they're starting to notice how it is. So they need new people. They need and I already told my parents, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but these people are very low.
Well,
They don't know
I tell you
better.
what.
Okay.
Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to see if I can pull up this other article real quick. I covered it yesterday on my live, but I was on late last night, so you might not have seen it. But let me let's see. This gonna might take a second here. It's
If somebody else wants to call, please, I'll hang
no,
up.
no,
I
no.
don't
Don't
know
worry.
if
No,
anybody wants to
no. There's only
call.
no. That look. There's only a few people watching right now, so don't worry about it. Relax. You. I like your.
Okay.
No, you're smart. You know what the fuck you're talking. Oh shit! I cursed. Damn. You know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
the only problem that I have, Carl, is I forget the names of people and stuff
Oh,
like that.
I do the
So,
same thing. So don't worry about it. Yeah, I do the same thing, man. I'm terrible with names. I'll see somebody in the grocery store, like one of my clients, and I'm like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And I'm like, I just saw this guy like the day before in court, and I can't remember his freaking name. So let's
I
see,
got you, man. I got
let's
you.
see if I can pull this article up here. Hopefully, I can. Let's see here. Ba, 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 ba.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, So now they want to bring all these people, They rather destroy the American, the American country, the U.S., just for power and money. And another thing, because now they hate Trump even more. So now the way I look at it, sometimes I don't think it's about power and money anymore. I think it's just about being against him because they hate the guy so much. I think that's what it is because now everybody is blaming Trump for everything.
Right.
If you feel sick, hey, it's Trump's fault. If I don't know if something bad came out today, but it's Trump's fault. I'm thinking to myself, man, this is really a disease. I swear to God, these people really go through this thing. What is it called? The Trump. What is it?
Trump derangement syndrome.
Yes, yes, yes. I, I'm serious, man. These people really have a problem. Hey, you got it? You got the?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh,
It's coming up
okay.
right now. I'm scrolling through it
I
right
see
now.
it. Hey, Laura, you still there?
Okay, I want you to look at
I don't
this.
know.
I want you to look at this story right here. You see it up on the screen? Hola America.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I see
Hispanic.
it.
Okay, this is according to the Washington. This is okay. Check this out. Hispanics are increasingly rallying for President Trump. This is according to a new NPR, that's National Public Radio / PBS NewsHour Marist poll. Now NPR and PBS, that is like the two biggest liberal. They make MSNBC look conservative. Okay, this
Oh,
is
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
this is their polling, which finds that 50% of Hispanics surveyed now approve of the job President Trump is doing. It's up from 19 percentage points since December.
I believe it.
I mean, I want you to think about that for a second. So even with all this immigration debate going on, Trump's approval rating among Hispanics is now at 50%. Now, his approval rating, now according to the mainstream media, his approval rating among black Americans is only like 8 or 9, or sometimes they'll say 11. But let me tell you about that. Okay, one, it's not 8 or 9 or 11. Even the NAACP, was another liberal organization, when they did their polling, they found black support for Donald Trump was at 22%. 22%. Now
Oh, wow.
Rasmussen did their polling, they found it to be at 36%. Okay, so figure I don't give a shit. Split the damn baby. So that's let's see, 36, 22. That's 8, 6, 14. Add 7. So say 29%. Split the baby, 29%. So say Trump's approval rating right now among African Americans is 29%, 50% with Hispanics. If he gets that number up from 29%, which I think it is actually higher, because there was another on the exit polling in 2016 when they asked African Americans, and they didn't say, okay, are you conservative or are you liberal? They asked them like to check the box on certain values they have. And 44%, the boxes they checked, 44% of the respondents, African Americans, the boxes they checked indicated conservative Republican. Okay, so in other words, they're there already. The Hispanics are there already. Hispanics, in my opinion, are natural Republicans. They're pro-family, they're anti-abortion,
Wait,
they're
well,
pro-small
no, no,
business.
you wrong. Carl, sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I think you're wrong about that anyway. About the Spanish being how do you call it?
Pro-family?
More towards no, more to the right, meaning more to Republicans. Most of them usually they go more to the left. You know.
Well, I think they go to the left because I think right now they're single issue voters. The single issue being immigration. They want more of their friends and family to come across that border. And I understand that.
Yes,
I get
correct,
But
right.
you got to go back and you look at the year 2004 is when George W. Bush, when he ran for re-election against John Kerry, he got 42% of the Hispanic vote in the election.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh,
the
see,
way
I didn't know this, but go ahead, tell me. Give me some info. Go ahead.
Sure. And the way he did that was that because that was a whole Gang of Eight thing going on with the immigration reform bill, and just based on the promise that immigration would be taken care of one way or the other, Hispanics came out and supported them and gave him 42% of the vote. So I think right now what they see, the reason why Trump's approval ratings are going up is because they see Trump leading on this issue, and he knows and they know that he's going to get something done. That there's going to be a deal made, and this is going to get done once and for all. And I think once you get the immigration issue off the table, in other words, it's done one way or the other. I think that then those people no longer are single issue voters. That issue's gone. Then I think they're going to lean naturally to voting for the Republican Party. That's my opinion, and and
Well,
this is Carl's opinion. Hey,
I hope you're right, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just coughing. You're good. You're good.
Uh, yeah, no, I hope you're right. And like I said, I agree with you. By the way, I don't believe anymore in polls. You know, polls from especially the mainstream media, because I don't know if it was CNN or I forgot where I saw it. That they said Donald Trump approval is going down, right, for the wall and for 2020. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, sure, okay, all right. Like if I believe it, they're just doing that so people can think that the people are against him. The honest, I think more people is with him now. That's my opinion. That's the way I look at it. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not, but
No,
you know,
I agree with you because remember the polling in 2016 for the election, they all had Hillary Clinton winning by leaps and bounds. And New York Times gave her like 90% chance of winning the election. Every what's his name? Nate Silver's 532 polling had Hillary Clinton winning going away until like the very end. He said, "Oh, I might be wrong." But I mean, everybody else had him going. And those when Trump calls those suppression polls, he means that. He means those are polls designed to get guys like us to say, "Oh shit, we're going to lose anyway. Why go out and vote?" Because we're
it,
like that's what they were trying
it,
to hope for.
exactly, and that's why I mean, you know. By the way, those videos from 2016, I love to watch them. I never get tired of
Oh,
watching those videos, man.
the best one is the Young Turks. Do you ever watch that one?
I can't stand those people. Yes, yes,
But
I, I,
have
I
you
watch
watched
it.
you watch their no? Did you watch their election night coverage? Did you watch their how they went
Yeah,
from?
that yeah, that she's calling all women and people, the what is it? Well, she's calling them name. Oh, I'm better than you, and I can't stand them. They're oh my God, I don't know who's worse, CNN or them. I mean, serious man, they lie. They actually lie to people, and I'm thinking, oh my God, how can you do a job lying to people? I don't know if I could do it. And I know money blind you,
Yeah.
but it's like, how can you lie to people? Don't you want to tell them the truth? You know?
No, they have an agenda.
Anyways, man.
They have an agenda. Look, they know they get the propaganda out there. What they're hoping to do is to change people's minds. That they keep flooding the airways with all these negative stories over and over again. Yeah, Laura, I totally agree. TYT awful. Yeah, but that election night meltdown coverage that's on YouTube, that is worth watching. I mean, I can watch
Oh
that
yes.
over and over again and never get bored watching that election night meltdown. But yeah, they figure they keep flooding the airwaves. They use selective reporting. They only choose certain stories to report. Ben Shapiro talked about that today on his podcast on the Daily Wire. He said, the mainstream media was looking for any excuse not to have to report on the pro-life rally in D.C., which got like 600,000 people showed up in the middle of winter for a rally in D.C. for the pro-life rally. In the mainstream media, they're looking for any excuse not to cover it. They slammed Ben Shapiro on his little Hitler remark. They went after those young
Yeah, I
kids.
watch it.
Yeah. Oh, you
I
watch
watch
you?
I watch them today too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't. I just wanted to say, yeah, I did watch Ben Shapiro today about that. So go ahead,
Yeah,
Carl. Sorry.
he was pissed. I mean, he was pissed, and I hope he starts waking up because he's kind of a never Trumper. Also, that's why he
Yes.
pisses me off once in a while.
Uh huh.
And
Mhm.
I hope
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's got to choose a side. I mean, he's got to realize now that you know what, this is no holds barred. I mean, what they just did to him, they cost him two sponsors. Two of his sponsors pulled off his show. He's got to realize this is a war. And this is a cultural war, and we got to make sure that we're going to win this. This is for the hearts and minds of the American people, and we're either going to go forward and make this a greater country than it is right now, or we're gonna go down oblivion. I mean, it's going to be oblivion. And he's got to wake up to that fact.
But one thing that I agree with you. Well, I actually agree a lot with you, but Ben Shapiro. Yes, I noticed when I started listening to him. I think it was last year, if I'm not mistaken, the beginning of last year.
Hmm.
At first, I wasn't too crazy on him. Some things are like okay, but other things like well, it's like I didn't really knew. It sounded like he wasn't not even in the middle. It sounded he was like more to the left. To me, it sounded more he was to the left. But then, the the more I listened to him, and now towards the end, towards this year, I noticed that he's more with Trump. Even if you don't like Trump, like he always saying he don't like Trump, but he's with Trump in a lot of things.
Right.
So I agree with you. I think he's trying to go more to the right, I guess. Well, I keep saying the right, but you know what I mean, conservative or whatever you want to call it. They
Yeah.
got
No.
so many names, I don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say he's definitely conservative, but I think what it is, he gets embarrassed by Trump. Because Trump will say something, pretty crazy. He'll tweet something pretty crazy. He gets embarrassed by him, and so he has to like, I hate to say it, but he has to like virtue signal. Like, oh look, no, I'm a conservative. I'm not just a pro-Trumper, and I'm going to call him out when he says something wrong or does something wrong. But we don't need Ben Shapiro for that. The whole mainstream media calls him out for everything, whether he walks 2 left feet forward. I mean, so Ben, you don't need to be calling Trump out. There's plenty of people doing that, and you don't need the left using your quotes against Donald Trump. So I mean,
Exactly, I
so I mean,
agree.
he just needs to look. If Trump says something he doesn't like, don't cover it. You don't have to virtue
Eh,
signal and say, "Oh, see, I'm above politics," and see, he did something wrong. I'm gonna make fun of him for it.
Hey, but you're right. Yeah, I mean about Trump don't need any more help, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Uh, but I noticed another channels because I have a kind of a few that I listen. Sometimes it's not because I like them. I just like to hear their opinion to see what things have to say about Trump. How the bad things. So so sometimes I listen to these some of these people, and let me tell you, some of them that they were either to the left or more towards the I don't know. Some that were in the middle. I guess. Some that were to the left, and even them, they're starting to have their channel. Every time I see a story, whatever it is, they're starting to talk good about what Trump is doing and bad about what the other people, the left. Like right now, like when was it? The yesterday and today about the two stories about the kids.
Yeah.
Uh, and the other day was the Miller,
Oh, Mueller
the
thing
other
with
fake news.
Cohen, the lawyer. Yeah.
Right, and then it was the feminists too, about the march. So anyway, those three stories, some of the YouTubers that I've been listening, they've been putting stuff out saying that they've been calling their friends out, their lefties, and now those people they don't want to talk to them or they don't want to watch their channels because they're making videos against these lying people, So I'm just trying to say a lot of people they're trying to defend Trump, I guess, even if they don't want to. But at least they're being honest because they're telling the truth. It's not like the other people that they'll just lie just because they don't want to agree with Trump.
Well, yeah,
So I think you're right.
yeah, because like you saw, like the media, they got scolded for that whole Ben Cohen, Robert Mueller story. When Mueller came out and said, "Hey, man, it's flat out wrong what BuzzFeed said," and then every mainstream media outlet picked it up and ran with it, saying, "Oh, Trump had Cohen lie in front of Congress, so he's going to be impeached," and they all ran with the story. And then Mueller comes out and says Friday night, "Hey, man, it's not true." And oh shit! And so then they all kind of wring their hands for a few minutes and say, "Oh, see, people are going to think we're a bunch of leftists who hate Trump, want to get rid of him." And then they're barely done wringing their hands, and then all of a sudden they run with this Covington, Catholic high school story, where they just take at face value, highly edited video, and it makes it look like these white Christians with their "Make America Great" hats again are over there, beating up on some,
Right.
Native American dude. And they ran with that story, and none of them took a few minutes. And then they were even getting violent, saying, "Oh, they should punch that kid in the face. He's got a punchable face. Oh, this is horrible. Oh, we should maybe shut the school down." I mean, all kinds of crap, like Ben was talking about. And they ran with that, and nobody took a few minutes to go back. Hey, where's the rest of the video? Let's see the context on this. Nobody took it because they didn't want to. They just wanted to get another stupid story out. In this case, it was to bash Christians, to bash Trump supporters, white kids. Of course, that was thrown in just for dessert on top. That they were white, and so and again they run with it, and again they get jacked up over it. And what do? Do they even come back today and say, "Oh wow, we were totally jacked up on that"? No, now they're trying to make all kinds of excuses and everything, and it's and that guy that Native American dude, that guy Phillips. Yeah, like
Yes.
Ben pointed out really good. Brian Logan pointed out good too, and showing that it was a complete lie.
Uh, yeah, he's not a good guy either. That guy, the
No,
the
he's
the
not.
the the, the Indian guy. It's not supposedly he already has some problems for doing things like this, for provoking. So he's not a good guy what is it? The mainstream media, is making him look like a good guy. No. He's not a good. He did that on purpose. I think he was looking for something. He was looking for problems just to, who knows, maybe sue or something. I don't know.
Well, he's
I
about to,
didn't like
he's
the
about
guy.
to he's about to get sued because there's a big time attorney that's taking their case pro bono, and so he's definitely going to they're definitely going to sue this guy for defamation because normally when you
Oh man,
like for instance
I hope so. Wait,
yeah.
but hold on, Carl. Who's doing it? Who's getting the
I,
lawyer?
I don't know the lawyer's name, but there's a big time lawyer. He's going to take the case pro bono. He's going to represent all the kids. He's going to sue for defamation and
Oh, I hope
libel and
so, man. I hope
slander.
you're right, man. I hope you're
Oh
right.
no, it's going forward. No, he's already agreed. I heard he already agreed to take the case, and they're pushing forward on it. So that Native American guy, that Phillips guy, he's definitely going to get sued. He doesn't have anything, but it doesn't matter. He's definitely going to get
Yeah, he
sued.
don't have anything,
But
you know.
a lot of the celebrities who came out and said a lot of stupid shit, and the networks who came out and said a lot of stupid shit. See, normally, like Trump can't really sue for defamation because there's the exception. The big exception is, are you a public figure? The famous New York Times, I think it was Sullivan versus New York Times, I can't remember,
Mhm.
is and saying, look, if you're a public figure, pretty much you got to take your hits out there from the media. And even if they get it wrong, they're given a lot of latitude if you're a public figure, because you're supposed to. We want a
Oh,
free press to go after you. That's the way it is. But these kids aren't public
okay.
figures, and most of them are minors. So I mean, they're minors, not public figures. So I mean, as far as defamation, Yeah, man, that's gonna be a great case. And can you show harm? Well, you can show fear, anxiety, everything else. I mean, the kids got death threats. Yeah, the people were putting their home addresses on the internet where their parents lived and everything. They were looking that stuff up. People own businesses. They were
Uh,
getting slammed. I mean, yeah, there's hopefully they're gonna go after everybody, and it'll be a nice big ass lawsuit, and they can get gazillions of dollars and teaching people a lesson. I mean,
yes,
these are
yes.
young kids.
Let me tell you, when I saw the story, of course, yesterday, right away I knew something was up because I saw the kids and I saw the hats, the Make America Great Again, the MAGA, and I'm thinking, I think something's up. So of course, then I start seeing right away videos, and I'm thinking, wow, man, how fucked up is this? Because I saw the CNN what they put, and the newspaper. I'm thinking, wow, how can you lie? I mean, I know they have an agenda. I understand that, but come on, you're putting these kids in danger because it's a lot
Right.
of crazy people out there that that they may do something to these kids just because they don't like Donald Trump. And these people are. And then when I saw the celebrities, well, if you call celebrities fucking losers, um, calling to go punch them and what's her name, Grifty, that girl Grifty or whatever, saying, to give the information and stuff. I'm thinking to myself, man, this is kids. And by the way, when I saw the video, the first video that supposedly was the real video, even I'm thinking, I don't see nothing wrong. The guy's, playing with his drum too close to the kid, but they all laughing, whatever. But then I saw the whole video, so then I'm thinking, whoa, this is even better for the kids because they didn't do anything. But my point is, like, even if you watch the video that the mainstream media wants you to believe, even I don't see anything bad there. That's why I don't understand why these people got so angry with these kids. I
Right.
don't, I don't know if you see what I'm trying to say.
No, I totally see what you're saying. 'Cause even on the video that they showed, okay, they show. I mean, because the video clearly shows, though it's from a different angle, shows that guy beating that drum in that kid's face. Now, I mean,
Right.
first of all, what was the excuse for that? I mean, you don't walk up to somebody's face. That's like legally speaking, that's kind of known as what's like called a challenge to a fight. In other words, the guy's up in his face, and he's got a mallet in his hand. I mean, which could be considered a deadly weapon because the issue with a deadly weapon is, can you use it like a baseball bat? I mean, that's for hitting a baseball, but it could also be used to kill you. So like this mallet, I mean, like I guess it'd be like started bashing him in the head with it or something. Could that be used to kill somebody? Could it be used to hurt somebody, cause substantial bodily injury? And he's up there banging
Right.
this drum,
Right.
literally like what, about 4 inches from the kid's face. So I mean, I don't know, but I don't know what the law necessarily in D.C. is, but that kid, if he had just pushed that guy away from him, I don't think he would have been charged with anything. He'd be like, hey man, he got right up in my face.
Well,
You
well,
know,
they say in the beginning, of course, when they put that video, they say that the kids walk, they confront the guy, meaning like it wasn't the guy who confronted them. So of course that's what I saw. I only saw them there together. I
right?
didn't know who came first. But my point is, even like that, I didn't see the kids do anything wrong. I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is kids, making a lot of noise, and kids, you know how kids are. I was a kid. I did a lot of stupid things. But my point, it's nothing happened. And when I saw these people saying, oh, they go to their house, punch them, do this, do that, I'm thinking, yeah, because they're wearing the MAGA hats, right? And then, of
Right.
course, then after I saw the real video, because I'm thinking, something's up. So when I saw the whole video, I'm thinking even more reasons, you know, that the kid didn't do anything. And even today, some people I was reading it in some, I don't know where, in some comments, some people put comments saying that, yeah, I saw the whole thing, but the kids, they still run. And I'm thinking, holy shit, how brainwashed are you, or how
No,
much do you
no,
hate?
no, yeah, no. I've heard that too. It's like, yeah, I saw the video, but the kids are still wrong. It's like I'm like what? Like how can you say that? That's impossible to say. I mean, if you saw the whole video, you can't say the kids are wrong. I mean, they're there. I mean, last time I had to go to D.C. was on business also, and I did the same thing. I went sightseeing and stuff because it's the capital. Why not? So I mean, they go to this rally,
Of course.
they go to this march. They say, okay, you're free, go sightsee, but be back here by 5:30 to get the bus. So then they, meet us here at the Lincoln Memorial. It's a good spot to meet because you know where it is. You can see there's a big memorial. There's Abe Lincoln inside. Okay, we can all find it. Nobody's going to get lost. So they all meet there. They're just standing there, goofing off, and then they get harassed by this black Israelite outfit. They
Oh,
start.
I can't stand those guys. I can't stand those. Oh my God.
I've
Yeah, go
never been
ahead.
able to
Keep
I've
going.
never been able to figure them out, and I could probably research it and find out a little more about the ideology, but I don't. But anyway, so they get harassed by them, and then when they get done getting harassed by them, they're standing there, going, "Oh Jesus," and then all of a sudden here comes this whole group of Indians on the warpath. da da da, and then like at first they didn't know like these guys coming over because they're on our side. They saw us just get harassed. They're coming over to say hey. They start banging the drum. They're singing. The kids are like singing with them and stuff. Hey, this is cool. And then then when the guy gets up in the guy's face and he's banging the drum in his face, and the kid's confused, and they're all confused. They're like, well, wait a second, why are you bothering us? We were just standing here, not bothering anybody. Why are you coming up in our face? Go do, we're doing our thing right here, mainly waiting for the bus, and you just got to walk up on us because we got these "Make America Great Again" hats on, which is total nonsense. It's funny because it's funny. The funny thing is the when the black conservatives went to D.C. to meet with Trump for the Young Black Leadership Summit
Oh, that
back
was
in
beautiful.
October. Yeah, well, they were walking
Yeah.
down. Let me tell you, they were walking down the street too. But nobody came up to them and got in their faces. That wasn't going to happen. There was some big dudes in that group.
Well,
It wasn't
you
going to
already
happen.
know why.
Well, no,
You
yeah. I mean,
already know
it
why.
wasn't. No, these guys would have kicked the shit out of him. It's like they weren't going to take any crap. So I mean, nobody got in their. That Indian guy was out there with his drum. I guarantee you, the last thing he would have done was walk up to a bunch of those guys and start banging the drum in one of their faces because that drum would have ended up his ass. that and then that Indian guy would have known it. And if he didn't know it ahead of time, he would have known it when he was crawling around with a big drumstick up his ass. So I mean, yeah, I watch a lot of those guys on YouTube, and trust me, some of those guys ain't playing. So it wouldn't have gone down
no,
like those kids.
but that's the whole thing. It's more because of the color. Again, because of the white. Of course they hate black people too. If you like Trump, but they don't. Like I noticed when it's black people wearing those hats, if they're around white people, they don't say anything.
No,
But if
there's
it
one.
is
No,
black,
there was a video that went viral. This black guy was in a restaurant, I think in Texas or something, and he had a "Make America Great Again" hat on. And this white guy comes up to him, this
oh,
big ugly dude, a big ugly liberal, if you will, walks up to him, knocks his freaking hat off. Yeah,
oh, hold on, I saw the video.
yeah,
Yeah,
remember
that's
that?
why.
And
Yeah, I
I
remember.
remember watching this one guy's. He did a video at what's it, Mel Deck. I'm a sub to his site. I could probably find him in a second here.
No,
Uh,
don't worry. But
yeah,
pretty much,
but yeah, he did a video after that, and this guy, he's kind of a badass, and he goes, "Yeah, come knock my hat off." And trust me, you wouldn't want to knock this guy's hat off because again, you're gonna end up with your own hat up your ass. So I mean, I don't think he'd shove his own hat up the guy's ass, but he'd shove something up the guy's ass. I mean, it would be like first he'd kick his ass, then he'd shove something up it.
I still I still don't understand is fine. You don't like Trump, or you don't like the people who support him. Fine, I understand that. Well, I don't understand that, but I can see your point. The thing that I don't understand is like if you have a business or if you work for in a example in a restaurant and somebody comes with a hat like that, why do you want to say something stupid? Just do your job. I mean, come on. Or those people they're like, oh my God, you're wearing the hat. You better leave. You better take it off. Is their hat really that offended? Are you gonna die? That's what I don't understand. Is these people so stupid? Well, they're not stupid. This is it gotta be a better name than stupid.
Well,
Worse
you got to
than
remember. You got
stupid.
to remember. They have been convinced. They have been brainwashed. I call it brainwashing. They have been convinced and brainwashed that we are evil. That we are deplorables. We are evil. We are deplorables. We're racist, sexist, misogynist, xenophobic. I don't know. Pick an ist, pick a xeno, pick whatever. I mean, they have been convinced that we are all of the above. and so they don't look at us like we're human beings. They don't look at us like we should be breathing the same air they're breathing. Okay, because we're horrible people for whatever reason, you know. And so yeah, I mean they can't just do their job. They get remember the liberals, the SJWs, social justice warriors, they call it, be getting triggered. You know, they see the hat and they get triggered, like, oh, they start all freaking out, like, oh, what am I gonna do? You know, oh, I can't take this anymore. That hat is driving me crazy. Oh, Trump, I can't. I mean, it really is. I think psychiatrists called it Trump anxiety syndrome, you know, versus Trump derangement syndrome. It's like people who can't sleep, you know, they can't eat, you know, they can't function in society anymore. They're just so they're so shocked and amazed that the American people, namely the people who actually pay the bills in this country, voted for somebody who's going to represent their interests. Like, hey, you know, we're paying the bills in the country. We should at least, you know, be represented in Washington. They can't believe that this guy got elected, that the American people voted for this guy, and they hate us probably as much, if not more, than they hate him. You know?
It's like you said, how do you call it? They're so. Oh my God! It gets to my nerves, Carl. Man, it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, I just want to like, oh, grab them. But even what's her name, Melissa Milano or whatever, the one that used to be Who's the Boss. I don't know if
Yeah.
you ever saw the.
Yeah, no,
She put
she was on that. Yeah, she was on that one stupid show. Yeah,
she put in the tweet she's another. Oh my God! I used to be in love with her back in the days, of course. When she now it's like I hate her, but
yeah.
she put a tweet saying that the MAGA hats there is the new hoodies, the new white hoodies.
Oh, right,
That don't,
the new clan hood. Yeah, yeah, I saw
and
that.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking, did she know the Spanish and black people wear MAGA hats? Are there KKK too? I mean, these people are so. Oh,
No, see
oh man.
the media did the same thing when the Young Black Leadership Summit, when those guys went over and met with the president at the White House. They did very little coverage on that as well. Now they had kind of
Of course.
they kind of had a good excuse because they had that one guy, that one nutcase with the who was mailing all the fake bombs out. They had just arrested him, and Trump even made an announcement at the initial meeting when they were getting ready when he was getting ready to talk to him. But I mean, but they didn't cover anything on that story because the last thing they wanted to show were 400 black people wearing "Make America Great Again" hats. They even said, "Oh, the Trump team handed them out to them when they came in the door." Bullshit. I watch a lot.
Yes,
Let me
yes,
tell you,
I saw that.
that's bullshit. I watch a lot of those guys on YouTube. They wear like just like I'm wearing my hat right now. You know, these guys they have their own hats. Okay, they wear their hats on their YouTube sites. You know, they have Trump signs behind them on their YouTube sites, like Axe does. So I mean, like you know, they have all that. So you know, and they showed one guy, a couple of guys did videos, you know, from the airport when they were like going to the airport to fly out there, and they had their "Make America Great" hats on and everything. So it wasn't like they got there and the Trump team handed them a bunch of hats. They brought their own hats or they bought them when they got there. They bought them like from a vendor on the street. You know, they showed two girls who actually, you know, what went up and bought some hats from this
And they
vendor.
were buying.
Yeah, by the
Yeah, yeah,
park.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I saw. I saw the whole thing. I thought it was because I'm like you. I follow a lot of them. A lot of some of them, not everybody. And let me tell you, I thought it was beautiful. I was so happy when I saw these black people, smart, doing their thing. I'm thinking, man, this is what we need. We need more people like this. It's like not the other people that they wanna. Be, because I'm pretty sure you're gonna agree with me on this. It's a lot of blacks and Spanish too. I guess I can because Spanish I think they're having the same problem like blacks. They don't want to say it because they know they're gonna get a lot of how do you call it?
a lot of shit.
They're gonna get
They,
right.
yeah. Oh
That's why
no.
I
Oh no.
think
No.
a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No.
That's why I
A
think.
lot of black people when they say they're support Trump or something, they catch a lot of shit. They get called all kinds of names. I mean, it's. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah,
They get
I
called.
think the probably.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I think it's worse for them when they are in their in the same neighborhoods, meaning like because I think black people they're more angry or nasty to their own people. I don't know why. They should be more supportive, but I think what is going to happen is going to be like a lot of them. It's like, oh yeah, fuck you, Trump. But deep inside, like, oh, I'm going to vote for Trump. That's my opinion.
Well, yeah,
That's what I think.
Anthony Brian Logan called that the black, what was he, what do you call it, the ghost vote of 2016. See, this is my opinion too. I think a lot more black people, black men primarily, not black women, but black men primarily voted for Trump in 2016 than the polls showed. And I'll tell you why. Because the states he won, okay, Wisconsin, there's Madison, Milwaukee. You got large black populations in both cities. You got Michigan. You have Detroit. You have Lansing, Michigan, Flint, Michigan. Then you go to Ohio that he won. You have Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Erie. Then you go down to North Carolina, that's Charlotte, and I think North Charlotte is also the other city there, or East Charlotte, whatever those, some kind of Charlotte, North Carolina. Large black populations, and when you look at also the Georgia vote, where a lot of black men came out and voted for Kemp, or didn't vote, or stayed home and didn't vote for Stacey Abrams. I think what you see there was a lot of black men voting for Trump in 2016, but won't admit it to anybody because they're afraid of, they don't want to catch all the shit, and I don't blame them. They catch a lot of shit. They get called every name in the freaking book, and but you know I guarantee you that there's a hidden black vote there for Trump that the mainstream media. Now, Roland Martin brought it up on his radio show after the Georgia governor's race. He was mad. After the Georgia governor's race and the Florida governor's race, Roland Martin on his radio show lambasted black men for not voting for Gilliam in Florida and for Stacey Abrams in Georgia because he knew. So he didn't really want to cover that story that a lot of black men voted for the Republicans in both those states, but he had to because he was so pissed. He was like so triggered. So he came out and lambasted black men for not supporting Stacey Abrams in Georgia and for Gilliam down in Florida. So he knew it. He knew what was going on. And you got the black conscious community; they're totally against illegal immigration as well. They've been very outspoken about it, and they were outspoken about it during the Georgia governor's race as well. So, I think
No,
if we can all come united, you know, behind Donald Trump, and I mean, I'm telling you, our GDP goes to 10% annual versus 3 or 4% annual GDP growth. So.
you know what? I hope so, man. I don't see it happening, but I hope I'm wrong. Because it'd be great, and not just for that. I mean, that of course that's a really good thing, but just for everybody to be together, because that means if we get together, if we unite, we can go against the government because the government's getting too big. And the bigger it is, the more they're going to control everybody. And you don't want that. I mean,
No.
you want the government to be small. You want to control the government, not the government control you. Because now the way I look at it is like every time they do something wrong, this is another thing I don't understand. Every time they do something wrong, nobody goes to jail.
Yeah.
Why? Why? What? Oh, so if I work in the government and I do something wrong, I mean something really bad, of course,
Hmm.
I don't go to jail. I mean that's the way I look. Oh, you rob money? It's okay. Don't worry. Oh, you touch a kid? Or you did something? It's like why? I don't understand it. I know they got power, but isn't there other people there with power too that they can take them?
Well, well, unfortunately, a lot of them cover for each other because they figure, look, I better cover for this guy. So when I get caught doing something bad, then he'll cover for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
that
even the
that
guys
makes
who
sense.
aren't doing anything bad, they're figuring like, well, I might get caught doing something in the future, and boy, I'm going to need this guy on my side. So and plus, if I start accusing him, next thing you know, they're going to start accusing me. It's like Joe Biden was talking about running for president. But have you ever gone to YouTube and seen the creepy Joe Biden videos on YouTube?
Oh man, I just saw it the other day. I didn't know
Oh,
he touched. Oh man, I thought it was one or two kids, but when I saw that video, when was it? I think 3 days ago. I'm thinking, wow, this guy is really bad. I mean, he touched so many little kids in places that I gotta be honest, I would never touch him. Even if it is, I don't know, my little cousin or whatever. I don't know. I can. It doesn't feel right for me to touch a kid in places like, especially little girls. He would grab the little girls. You know,
oh,
I don't know, man.
some of the girls were
It was
trying to
weird.
pull away. Some of the girls were trying to pull away from him. And,
Yes, I noticed
but
that too.
and only a couple of the moms said no, 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 and they grabbed their kids. But I mean, most of them said like, oh, okay, yeah, she can stand next to you. I mean, what's up with these parents? I mean, I would have said, hey, f you, buddy, that's my daughter, and why don't you get the hell away from them? And thanks for swearing me in, and goodbye. You know, I mean, like
And
you're a freaking weirdo. So I
and
mean,
the
you know, he
and the
can't
and
run.
the way he was grabbing. So sorry, Carl. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, no,
Uh,
no. Yeah, I agree. The way he was grabbing him and everything, it was all weird. I mean, it was like, no, if I was one of those parents, I was like, yeah, I know you're the VP and everything, but you know, and the president of the Senate, but no, man, thanks for swearing me in. Have a nice day. Goodbye. And you're a freak. And I would have just called him
I,
out on it. I would say you're a freak.
but I know I heard about that a while back, right? But I never actually saw it. I think I only saw him touching one kid or whatever, and I'm like, okay,
No, that
he's
video goes
weird.
on forever. It's like 2 hours
Well,
long.
I didn't. When I saw it was only a few minutes, and that
Oh,
was the first time I watched. It was like I don't know, 3 hours. I mean, 3 days ago. But let me tell you, just those 10 minutes, he actually would grab the kids and push them close to him, and I'm thinking, like, wow. I mean, you can tell that he's grabbing them and pushing them to be close to him, and then he's always touching the little girl's hair, but it doesn't look right. I'm sorry, it just do not look
no,
right.
the guy's a
Uh,
weirdo. Of course, it doesn't look right. The guy's a freaking weirdo. He doesn't look right. I mean, you know,
I can't stand
the guy needs some
it.
help.
Hey, listen. The more I see these people, all right. I know they want to call the old white people. Me, I call them people because I don't care if you're black or whatever. The more I see these politicians, the more I cannot stand them because they're really weird. They got it's like they're against everybody. They do everything they want, and then when you see doing these things, it's like, how can we want these people? How can you vote for these dumbasses? It's like, oh man, it's like, and they say Trump is bad. Let me tell you, I think Trump. I'm not saying he's perfect, you know, but at least Trump, he's more in your face type of guy than the other ones. The other one is more like in the behind you, stabbing you type
Oh
of
yeah,
people.
no, Trump is really. Oh wait, let me give a shout out to Second Chance for coming into the chat. Hey, Second Chance. But no,
Hey, second chance. What up? What up? What up? Go ahead,
yeah,
Kraft.
hey,
Sorry.
there you go. But no, I totally agree. The thing about Trump is like you can you know he tells you exactly what he's thinking. I mean you know I mean it's great to have it's great to have a politician, a guy in elected office, who tells you what's on his mind. You know I mean you know the press you don't have to try to figure out what he's going to do. Just you know go to his you know Twitter page. You know let's see what he's tweeting that day. Then you can tell exactly what he's thinking about. So I mean, it's really easy for the press. It's really easy for his opponents to figure out what he's trying to do, what he wants. You know, versus a lot of politicians, they say one thing and they do something else. He says what he's going to do and he does it. He says why he wants to do it and he does it. So
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm very happy about. Not that I like Twitter because I can't stand Twitter, but I'm happy that right now we have it because I like when the president tweets. You know, so like that we get information right away from him. You know,
right,
and especially a lot of the tweets. I think some of them they're pretty funny. And
right,
that's the only reason I went to Twitter because I was never a Twitter person either. I just went to Twitter just to to support the president. That's pretty much what I did it for.
right.
Um, and I still think his numbers in Twitter is not the right numbers because I remember last year I noticed that Obama had I think it was like 103 million or something like that, right, followers, and then somebody said that they made a mistake or they put extra, so they took out. So he went from 103 to like 100 or to 99. I can't remember. It was like they took like 3 million, something like that.
Oh wow.
And and then a few weeks later, he was already like back to 1.4, 1.5, 100, millions.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, I bet you Donald Trump got more than I think it's 58 million right now or 56,
Yeah.
whatever it
Something
is.
like, he's been at that number for like a long time. You know, I agree with
Yeah,
you. I
yeah,
think there's more people following him. You know, look, no, no, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. What they're doing out there between you know Google, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I mean, they're not even hiding it. They have an agenda. They're trying to push that agenda forward. They're trying to you know shadow ban people. To I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had to refollow Donald Trump that I've been kicked off following him.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
I'll go on Twitter on my phone, and you want to hit the people. You got your little people that you normally you follow up on top, people you've been hitting recently, and they're not there. And then I have to go back and find them. Instead of just showing right up as soon as I pull it up on my Twitter page, I have to go find him again. I have to like re-follow him again. Well, how many people do that? In fact, I haven't been on Twitter in a long time, so my guess is if I go on now, he's probably not there. I mean, I have to go, re-follow him again, re-get him back up again. So, I mean, they do that all the time. Axe talks about it as far as shadow banning, as suppressing him and his numbers. I believe that. You know, uh,
I me too.
yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I was just going to say that yes, of course I'm with you. I believe you, but the only thing I noticed, well, I don't go to Twitter that much, so far I never had that problem. But I noticed that when I when I go to YouTubers like let's see like yourself, like right now, I like this, I like the live show.
Hmm.
But I notice a lot of times if I go, I don't know, back to check the something, my thumbs up is gone. I have to do it again. So I don't know if it is a phone thing or if it is actually the Google or the YouTube or whatever that they're taking it out. I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say.
Well,
When
yeah,
you
no,
put a
no,
thumbs
no.
up.
You'll get unsubbed, or your notification bell suddenly isn't. You don't have it anymore, or you won't get a notification. Um,
That happened to me already with the
yeah.
Axe channel. It happened once already. So far, only once. But then I have other YouTubers that I used to follow. Of course, they're much bigger than Axe. And I noticed that I have to subscribe. But I did it twice already to one. So yeah, it's like, and this is gonna get worse too. I got a feeling it's just gonna get worse with time.
Oh no, no, no. They're doubling down because there's nobody stopping them. You know, that's the whole thing. There's just no there's nobody stopping them right now. So I totally agree with you. And in Congress, you got the House now is controlled by the Democrats. They love it because they want, like the one guy, Andrew Liu, congressman from California, goes, he was talking to somebody from MSNBC or CNN. He goes, I would love to, rein in the conservative voice or conservative speakers on. I think Mark Dice covered this. Conservative speakers on
Oh,
YouTube.
it was the Japanese or Chinese guy.
Nah,
I saw the interview.
you don't
Well,
use
I don't.
that. You don't use that word. Jesus Christ. But anyway.
Well, I respect everybody. I just
Yeah,
don't know their names.
I
So,
hear you. It's like, oh, and
hey, if
I can't even edit that. That's just out there, man. It's like crap. But
oh, I'm
anyway,
sorry. I'm
but
sorry.
yeah,
Just,
but
I
yeah.
don't want to get you in trouble.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
want to
no,
get you in
no, don't worry
trouble.
about it. But anyway, so what was I going to say? So anyway, so yeah, he was on there saying, "Gee, I'd like to really, be able to, slow these conservative voices down on social media." But we got that little First Amendment thing, like, oh, gee, I mean, let me tell you, when the founding fathers put that in there, that wasn't a little thing. That was a big thing for them because, in Great Britain back in, then it was called England, or it might have been called Great Britain back then. I can't remember. They didn't have a First Amendment, and that's how they can try to control the colonists. Like Thomas Paine and all those guys. They had to write their newspapers underground, and distribute their little pamphlets and stuff. During the American Revolutionary War. So they wanted to make sure they had a free press that could criticize the government and things like that. And what conservative YouTube is doing is criticizing the establishment. And of course they don't want that because they're the freaking establishment. You know.
Hey, Carl, just I'm sorry, I'm going a little back. Again, man, I apologize, but do you really get in trouble for things like this?
Not
You
really.
know,
No. No. It all
I
depends.
mean, it's not
No.
even your
No.
fault. It was
No.
mine.
No.
You know what I
No.
mean?
No. No. Don't worry. Look. No. I know. I'm not gonna get in trouble for that. Don't
Um,
worry about it.
and I
Okay.
wasn't trying to offend
Don't worry
anybody. If
about it.
anybody here, anyway, I agree with you about that. They don't care anymore. Now, I got a question for you. I want to, your take out, your opinion on this. Um, okay, I know it's just going to get worse, definitely. Now, I got two questions. The first one is, how hard, because I don't know too much about this, how hard is to actually have a company, maybe another company like Google. I'm not saying that big, but somebody could to start something like that. So people like ourselves can
Billions
go
and
there.
billions of dollars to get something out there
Oh,
that would be, oh, that
is
would
that what
be,
it takes?
well, yeah, that would be that powerful that you'd have to advertise the hell out of it to get people. First of all, you got to get people to leave Google. Okay, and Google, for all its faults, I mean, I'm a Google subscriber myself. You know, I pay $14.95 for the family plan. You know, it's just things Google does that. I mean, for somebody else to come along and do all those things, it would amazing. Same thing with YouTube. I mean, YouTube, the platform
You,
is the best. A lot of those things are patented. You know, their platform and how they have
you,
everything set up and everything. You,
you know they have another company, Duck, I think it's called, or something like that.
well, I know there's like there's BitChute out there and some other stuff, but Minds, which is awful. If you ever go to Minds, that's a terrible site.
Okay.
Oh God, it's just awful. Um, BitChute, Minds, and I don't know, there's other streaming outfits out there, but they just never seem to get off the ground because everybody wants to be on YouTube because everybody's already here. In other words,
I,
everybody would have to say, okay, we're all leaving and we're all united and we're going to all do this, and then everybody goes. But the problem is, nobody's united. You have a lot of people who are out for themselves. You have a lot of YouTube creators who are, they like YouTube because they like the money they got coming in from it. And if they go to another platform, they're not going to make nearly the same amount of money they're making on YouTube. So I mean,
mm,
the idea that like everybody all at once says, okay, we're all going to go, make sure everybody goes, nobody stay behind. We're all in this together. Blah blah blah. Yeah, good luck. You know,
see, I thought since so many people want something different, I thought it'd be easy. Meaning, not for myself. Whoever knows about starting one, I figure people will come right away. Because
right?
they keep. I just thought it was going to be easier, but I guess you're probably right. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask you: did you hear about Canada? About Trudeau. He gave like $500 million to start pretty much to take the propaganda that is against him and just put whatever he likes.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think he gave a bunch of
so
money to like their mainstream media outlets or something like that because like they're also government
yes,
run or also.
yeah. Do you know? I mean, I just wanted to. What's your opinion on that? Do you have one? I mean,
Well, I really didn't look at it that much. I mean, I know Rebel Media covered it, but I really didn't
okay,
I really didn't pay attention to that topic too much. So I really don't have any. I don't have any.
okay,
I don't.
okay, okay. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no big deal. I just told you. I did actually got a little bit into that, and supposedly he's already starting to do it. Well, not him. He already gave the money, so they're already
Right.
starting
Right.
to put the fake stuff there and take the real news. And I'm just thinking, man. I hope the Canadians, man, because supposedly more than half of Canadians they don't want this guy there. So I think this year they're going to be re-elections, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Canada. It's this
I'll be
year.
honest. I'll be honest. With you, I can't remember. I can't remember if it was this year or next year. God, I should know that,
I,
and I don't
okay,
know.
I,
Damn.
I I think it's this year, but I don't want to. I'm not 100% sure. But I think I heard people saying it was this year. But anyway, I hope they take this guy out because let me tell you, man, this guy is a traitor. He's really destroying Canada. You know.
Yeah.
I saw another story, and I'm sorry. I
Go
saw
ahead.
another story that this girl, oh my God, what's her name? I can't remember, but she went for she was trying to be a mayor in Canada, in some place in Canada. I can't remember, but anyway, she's very pretty. She went to the borders, I guess, of Canada,
Hmm.
of people that they come through there that they're not supposed to, and she just to show people the in houses they have these big things saying refugees or people welcome or whatever, and supposedly Trudeau, whatever, gave 25,000 to each person to keep that in their house, like outside. This is like big things saying, welcome, and all that stuff. And she actually spoke with a lady, that lives there, and she asked the lady, and she did. She was a really nice old lady, but I don't think she knew what she was doing. And she said, yeah, they gave us 25,000 to keep these things here. So they actually paying people with tax money from Canada, right, from the workers
Uh
there,
huh.
to have these things. So when people cross the border, they're not supposed to, by the way, because it's illegal. Um, to see those things and feel more welcome. That's pretty much what it is. But they're using
Taxpayer,
money.
right?
Yeah. So if I get her name, then I'll let you know. I'm pretty sure you probably know who she is. She's very beautiful. I know I have her here in the phone, but I can't right now. I can't really look for her.
What, Tommy
Oh,
Lauren?
Toronto. She was trying to be the mayor in Toronto. And she actually she ran for, but the whole thing is she didn't have no publicity. Every time she tried to pay for a commercial or something, the TV there, the news, whatever, they didn't want nothing to do with her because they didn't
Oh
want her
wow.
to run.
Oh okay.
So I don't. Yeah, so she was having a hard time because of that. She didn't have too much support because you know how it is. You want to do things, but these big shots, they got the power. That's the problem, you
Right.
know.
Right.
So yeah, man. When I get the number, I mean her name, I'll let you know. But I just thought, if Canada don't do anything, man, it's gonna be in really bad shape, and you know what is gonna happen. Then we have to have another wall in that side too.
Then we have to build a wall on that end over there. Well, the funny thing about
um,
that is, some of the people who are trying to get into this country, they figured the welcome wagon wasn't out, so then they've been sneaking across the border from New York into Canada, and they've been ending up with a lot of immigrants, and they even sent a delegation down to certain countries. I think Haiti was one of them, saying, really don't know. They went down to Miami to talk to a bunch of the Haitian immigrants, saying, "Look, we're kind of full right now in Canada, so we really don't need to be coming up here." I mean, it was kind of amusing. But I tell you what, man, I'm gonna let you go because I'm gonna pretty much end the stream. I've been on
yeah,
for
of course.
I've been on for almost 2 hours, so I'm gonna call it a night for tonight. I might come back on later on tonight with a live. If I don't know, is Axe coming on tonight? Do you know, is Axe coming on tonight?
You know what? I haven't seen anything yet. But I don't think so, but I could be wrong. But I didn't see anything. But anyway, Carl, thank you for having me on. And yeah, I'll definitely, I'll try to check you or either later or tomorrow if you're there. If I'm not sleeping or anything like that. And thank you again, man, for the chat, man. It was always cool. I
Oh
like it.
man, Laylo, thanks for calling in, man. Totally a great conversation. But all right, man. Hey, have a good one.
You too. Be safe. Bye.
All right, bye bye. And for everybody out there, that was a great Laylo. Also on the chat room, his name is Laylo69. Great guy. We're on the Axe Truth channel together. That's Axel Truth or Axel whoever, but Axe Truth channel. I also had Still the Truth channel, but we're on there together. Axel does a lot of live streams. Uh, you'll a lot of times you see me in the chat room. I'll be on Axel's channel or Anthony Bryan Logan's channel, O'Shea Duke Jackson's channel. Of course, I'm on his channel. As much as I can get on there. That's a really good site. Really good topics and discussion as well. And so I just want to tell you what. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and for all those watching in the future after this gets uploaded to YouTube. I just want to thank you very much. And anyway, let me see if I can get some music here for you guys. And let's see, you're going to take me off of here. And going to put some music on if I can get it to play right. And there we go. All right. Anyway, thanks for coming by, and thanks for watching the live stream. And you guys have a great night. Take care. Bye bye.
I got one more second to make up my mind, do or die. Each time I figure I'm taking control, just letting you She's got takes and hides. You've always seen a wanted one. Found yourself with lids fighting on. And I can leave you now. I've seen